Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Milsurp World, the podcast all about military surplus. I'm your host, Aaron, and today with us is obviously Danny and Jared.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about some kind of random stuff, but mostly we want to focus on... It's been kind of a strange past year and a half, huh, Danny?
Yes.
Jared?
Yep.
Yes.
Weird. What's something that's been going on?
I don't know what's been going on, but it's been some weird stuff going on, and as such, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Milsurp world too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a random talking video, but also like a what's going on in the Milsurp world right now.
Yeah. A reflection of the current market, things that we've maybe seen. I already saw somebody posted on Facebook an ad from February 2020. And it was like of the super low ammo prices, compared to today. And people it's just insane that people are already reminiscing about a year and a half ago, as if it was 10 or 20 years ago,
Or 1953.
Yeah, because most likely you see those old, 50-year-old, shotgun news ads of, $20 moves. Yeah. So it's just weird from a year and a half ago.
I did actually see a thing yesterday that ammo was back on the shelves, but it was, 50 rounds of 9mm for $45. But that's good that it's back because then no one will buy it, hopefully, and the prices go down, supply and demand kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I've been noticing it more often now because I'm still kind of going to gun shows, and it seems that it's more common. Like the show I went to last weekend, I think it was a guy had 50-round boxes of 9mm for $25 a box, which 50 cents a round isn't like a great price for 9mm compared to 2 years ago. But I think for now it's like, my first instinct was to buy that because it's the lowest I've seen in a long time. Then I was like, well, 50 cents, no.
I have actually never bought a box of 9mm in my life. I have reloaded every single round and I have cast for it. So I've never actually bought a single round of it.
Same here. I don't use it, but same here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those rounds though that's I traditionally you could get for so cheap in bulk that I never really super needed. I used to reload 223, not because of cost, because you could get it for 25 cents a round, back 10 years ago when I reloaded, but just because I wanted to make different loadings and try subsonic loads and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just think it's funny because when people complain about it, I've never actually bought a box. It does suck that it's too high, but I've actually never bought a box before.
Yeah, I think primers and everything, reloading components now, you can't find that really hasn't gone down. Some ammo has gone down, I think. It's a little bit more available, but people are still super proud. I think I told you about those primers, man. It was $30 or $40. It ranged per box of 100.
Yeah, that's not. They were $4 a box.
That was starting before the pandemic, though. Do you remember I told you about that? Those three guys fighting over primers at the auction locally to me, Danny?
Oh yeah,
that was 2019.
Weird.
Yeah, I was seeing people fight over primers before the pandemic. So I'm wondering if it just accelerated something that was already trending upward.
Might have. Might have. Primers are usually the first thing that goes and then the last thing that comes back. Or they have been, 2012, and then when did Trump get elected? 2015?
16.
Well, he was in the 16. It was the year before is when I was thinking.
but also the year of 2016 up to the election. The election's not till November.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't remember. Yeah, that was kind of a messed up time. It happens every 4 years, but primers tend to be the first thing that goes and the last thing to come back because you can buy them cheap and stack them deep.
Same with 22.
It's weird though. I think every scare is a little bit different because I'm old enough now that I can remember the first scare that I experienced was when Obama was first elected, and everything sold out, and it was a 22 scarcity, I think, that one, and then the second scare 380 was gone. 380 was the new hot caliber everyone had, and that was just sold out everywhere. That was gold. like different. Every one is different. Like whatever the new hip caliber is, or whatever the new more popular thing to shoot is.
I remember the 22 one. That was a big deal. I remember like gun stores would be like, you could only buy X amount of boxes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which I never understood that. Like I would, you could ask people like, hey, why are you panic buying this? Oh, the government's gonna ban it. Okay, you think they're gonna ban 22 specific? Like, why aren't you panic buying everything else? So why 22? That's like the one caliber they wouldn't. Even in the most like gun, restrictive like countries in the world, like 22 is still available. Like you could.
We've discussed this a lot before. The UK still allows 22.
Well, yeah, it's the only like semi-automatics you could fire in the UK and Australia and New Zealand is 22s.
Some of the, as far as non-repressive governments, most restrictive gun laws, 22s are still there.
Yeah, so I never really understood that one. Don't know what those boomers are thinking back in
the survival caliber.
2008. Oh yeah.
It's because you can buy it really cheap, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you feel better because you're buying a lot of something, so you have it.
Yeah, thousands of rounds.
Yeah, my dad hoarded 22 ammo like crazy. He bought like a ton, like in the 90s and early 2000s. And I remember I sold a lot of 22 during that scare at gun shows that I was working at. Made a lot of money.
I'm not surprised.
Because I mean, like right now, so I think one of the hot rounds right now was the 62 grain. Was it M855, 5.56? It's like a little over $1 a round, I think. Which in like 2020, it's like okay, that's about normal for a lot of these cartridges right now, especially when you compare it to other stuff like GP11 or whatever. But in 2008 or 2000, maybe it's 2009, 12. I sold M855 for $1 a round, like sold out completely, and I had a ton. So like that's how bad it was back then. Even like the ammo was selling at a comparative high price to like now. Geez, that's almost 10 years ago.
Getting old.
Yeah, basically a boomer.
Well, you're a boomer because you keep getting all these deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just been coming up, man, coming out of the woodwork. My honey hole still's coming through.
Oh, I gotta check that website.
I saw that the French 1935A popped up, and it's just like it was. I'm just looking at it like, okay, well, I guess I know what I'm doing over my lunch break, because it was too good, $3.99, which I kind of learned, I think, why some of their stuff is as good a price as it is. Which I was talking to the lady like, hey, this. Is this like from the same guy? Because she's like, yeah, it's a consignment gun. It just came in. Is it from the same guy as this gun or this gun that I got from you? And she's like, yeah, he's unloading it slowly. And I was like, well, I'm surprised. It's not. I forgot what I said. Something along the lines of, I'm surprised it's priced fairly. And she said, well, it's not his. It was his brother's that passed away, and he's just unloading it. It's like, that's it. Because the guy's not not a gun guy. He doesn't really know what any of this is worth. His brother, the person that knows, passed away. The gun shop, I guess, doesn't, understand like gun values fully, and because it seems really hit or miss. Like they have quite a few Milsurps now, but they're all pretty high. Like I just went and looked at their. They have Remington M91s. They have a 1917 and a 1918 one, and they wanted. I think they used to want like 800 a piece, and they dropped it to 600 a piece. Which is for Remington, it's like that's not terrible. But I looked at them; they're real rough, like they're real rough guns. So
isn't one of them missing bands?
Yeah, it was missing. Yeah, missing the both barrel bands. It's like no way. So
Did they sell that rolling block?
No, it's still there, man. It's still there. Yeah, that Remington 7mm for $550, which is it's tempting every time I go in there. I'm like, man, like it's not you don't find them super often for that price. Usually when you find 7mm rolling blocks, people are pretty proud of them, the only thing throwing me off with that one is I think it was refinished.
Yeah, I think it was too.
So do I.
But $550 is the cheapest I've ever seen one ever in 7mm.
Yeah, I forgot all three of you now. Yeah, or both of you, all three of us have been to that store. That's funny.
I'm not on their website right now looking at what they have.
Yeah, I check them out like multiple times a day. because it's not the owner. It's one of the. It's like the manager or something. She said like the website's her baby, and so she, as they come in, she just like puts them on.
I am not shocked it's not the owner.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, neither.
Yeah. It's so weird. I've mentioned this before, but like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like these ultra conservative, these lazy millennials, whatever types of people of these gun stores are also some of the most lazy,
Just want to bitch.
Like they don't want to like mess with taking multiple pictures. They want to take 3 grainy, blurry pictures of a gun and demand $1,000 for it. Like their website's not that great. They only put 1 picture of each gun.
And it was small. When I clicked on it, it didn't get bigger.
Yeah, 1 low resolution image of a firearm on their website. It's like, okay. So pretty much I've only bought 2 things off their website, and it was because it's like, even if it's rough or there's something I can't see on the other side of it or whatever, can't really go wrong. But yeah, it's so weird, man. Here's the thing. So when I used to work at the Tallahassee Gun Show, there was a guy that I worked with who would get the tables. Super hardworking guy. His name's Tim, and Tim would his big thing, and it still is. Man, he's been doing it for like 15 years or more now. Is selling ammo cans. He's ex-military, so he had like a hookup for ammo cans off base. He had storage units full of ammo cans, and so he would set up every gun show like that was around North Florida, and he would sell his ammo cans, and just like working with him and seeing like he like never sat down. He was just constantly working, and like his thing was he put WD-40 like on a rag, and he was constantly wiping down his cans to make them like really. And I've never seen that again at another gun show. Like every time, any vendor that's selling ammo cans, the vendor just be sitting down or whatever, leaning back, like not doing anything, or on the phone, and like the ammo cans are sitting there like dirty, and they're asking you like high money for it. And just something I never, you could wipe down those ammo cans, they'd sell faster, they'd look better, but they don't, like they don't even think of it. So it's kind of, I don't know. That's a weird little tangent, probably, but I'm just surprised, man. Like I don't know.
They're selling the cans without doing the work, Danny. Why would they do the extra work?
Yeah, that's a thing. It seems a little bit more like with gun people. Like they expect, like they don't clean the guns before they sell them. They don't clean the cans before they sell them. They don't want to take a lot of pictures. They just, you're going to pay this, Sonny. I know what I got.
That's not true for everyone.
I know I'm painting broad brush here, but it just seems more often than not in my experience. The types, like gun people, gun stores. Like if you were to like disagree with a shop owner, like of anything, like a cookie store or like, I'm just any store you could think of. You had a disagreement with a locally owned store, like the owner. The most likely person to kick you out or ban you from the store or whatever is probably the gun owner from disagreeing with them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a, gun store owner is most likely to have some sort of, political propaganda on their like poster or sticker on their door or whatever. Most often to talk about that stuff openly with customers instead of trying to have like a neutral business place, like most.
You're not wrong.
That's just something I've noticed. I've had this. I've talked to my wife about this quite a few times, but I've had this daydream of like owning a gun store, and pretty much I want like a cool hangout / gun store area where like maybe the front part you walk in is like the actual like gun store, stuff on the wall, whatever to sell, and then there's like a back area, and you can like hang out and smoke cigars or
There's one of them by me. It's a cigar shop that sells guns.
What is the name of it?
Let me Google it.
I've thought of a lot.
Smoking barrels. Come on.
No, it's
That's
not.
good.
I'm just saying, Danny.
The name that I was gonna call my store is Smoke and Fire.
Oh, okay.
Where is that? I know it's in this town because it's on the way to the one that I would go to get. There's an awesome gun store in this town because you just send them. You buy the gun online, you don't call them, you just send it to them. And you watch your tracking number, and when it comes in, you go pick it up. Like, they don't want you to call them. They just want you to be responsible. and there's another gun store right down the road, and I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, man. Like, if you call, like, you can call a gun store, and they're like, "Well, what do you want?" That's how they answer their phone. And it's no other business does that. No other business is like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with shipping, or I don't want to whatever. And self-regulating, man. It's like what what Matt says,
It's
Matt
Smoke and Guns.
Oh,
Sorry.
Smoke and Guns.
Yeah, Smoke.
I mean, that's good. That's still good.
Guns. Yeah,
still a good name.
Smoke and Guns.
Yes.
We all had Smoke and XYZ names.
Yeah. It's actually just an N, the letter, so it's fancy.
Smokin'.
Yes, it is the mask. But yeah, there's one of them by me. They're just hanging out in there, and I went in there once. They had like a Mosin and an Archangel stock. That was it.
Oh man,
but it was a nice place.
That's like a meme gun.
Oh, it was. It was very memey.
I was working at a show, and the guy I was at the table with, he was selling a Mosin, an M9130, and the person that was buying it literally was like, "Yeah, I'm just bought an Archangel stock, so I'm gonna take this out and put it in it." It's like, oh wow, you people still exist. Like, this is still happening.
Yeah, I have a coworker that tried to sell me one of his that he'd put in an Archangel stock.
He wanted $800 for it?
It was I don't remember what, 6 or 7, I think.
Yep, yeah.
And it's just a run-of-the-mill 9130. It's not anything special about it.
Yeah, man, that's one of those guns I could just never like as a refurb Soviet Mosin.
So
like an original.
I kind of feel it the same. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
Or like an original one that's not been refurbished, like after the war, or refinished, and it's shellacked.
You mean like the one you have?
I don't have a 9130.
You have a 91.
Yeah. I mean a Finnish 91, and then a Soviet 91 from World War One.
Not a Soviet, a Russian.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, Russian, but then Austrian. So, and then somebody's not Finnish.
Yeah, not to Finland.
So I have Mosins, but not any Soviet-made ones. Soviet-owned ones, because that's too mainstream, man.
I have 3.
It's because they tend to be shit.
They are.
Yeah, they usually have like the biggest import marks and the clunkiest.
Well, the issue is that we all know this. Like, they were put together and stored by people that were basically being paid, I don't know, in potatoes, and like nobody gave a shit. Nobody like cared for them.
Yeah, paid in potatoes. That
I don't know.
Yeah, if they're lucky, then they got food.
I can guarantee you there was no highly skilled labor applying the shellac to those stocks before they went into the Cosmoline.
Yeah, just judging by the how they just slapped it on there, thin in some places and thick in others.
Over the metal, over the sling hole metal, or onto the receiver. Like, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, it's probably been long enough that some people listening to this is not going to know that the shellac is post-war. But remember the document that you found?
Yeah, I
want to briefly retell?
It's always a meme for you, isn't it?
Yes.
So, I don't remember what spurred this on, but for some reason I really got invested into figuring out if shellac, air quotes, was the correct finish for a 9130, and essentially it's not. It's very basic. It's not a finish, in period quote there. It's a preservative that they applied to keep the Cosmoline from soaking into the wood. Any of you that have ever seen the Cosmoline soak into the wood, it destroys it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it soggy. It does not do well. Shellac is hydrophobic and does a really good job of preserving something if it's in a liquid, as long as it's not moving around. So if you're putting a bunch of shit in a barrel or in a crate and covering it with shellac, it's not moving around. The document that Danny is referring to is I somehow managed to find a trade agreement between India. Now this is independent India, not the India that was under the control of the British. and the Soviet Union. And now it details trade agreements and trade items, and it specifically calls out shellac from India to the Soviet Union, which was in 1959.
Much later.
The only large exporters of shellac are India and Thailand. Thailand does not have a good relationship, or did not have a good relationship with the Soviet Union. They were pro-Japan, and that did not work out for them very well.
Yeah.
So they did not have a relationship with the Soviet Union. I don't think they provided them with shellac. But here's the other thing. I think what's also happened is the word shellac has become the go-to term in the United States, and maybe just English-speaking countries in general, but mostly in the United States, for a high gloss finish. Shellac is actually literally the secretions of the lac beetle, LAC beetle.
Uh-huh.
It's very slow drying. It's hard to apply. It's extremely fragile when dried, as evidenced by everybody scraping shit off their Mosins on accident. And it's extremely shiny when it's dried, which is something that I don't think most people would want in a firearm. You want to be
Combat
shiny as
environment.
fuck. I don't know. So you have a combination of it's shiny, it's hard to apply, it's expensive because it only comes from 2 countries that have a large capacity to be able to produce this. It's slow to dry, and it's fragile. Fragile is the big thing. So even if you can say, oh, it's hydrophobic, yeah, but like it's fragile. It's going to scrape off really easily. So in my opinion, shellac is not a finish. It's a preservative, much like cosmoline is. And I don't believe there's a difference between removing the cosmoline and removing the shellac. Now, a lot of people will disagree with me on this, and that's fine. That's your opinion. But shellac was not applied during the war, and if there was high gloss finishes, it was not shellac. Period. There you go.
I learned a lot actually right there. I did not know that. So genuinely, thank you. And now I have 3 Mosins, and I want them all to be named Beetlejuice. So I have Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice.
Good.
So now you can get into arguments about whether or not the Arsenal did it or something like that. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if you guys take it off or leave it on. Whatever you want to do, but like it's your gun, it's not mine. I don't care. And but as far as the research that I found, it points to the United States. People in the United States have misinterpreted what shellac means. The literal shellac was not applied until post-war during the refurbs, and it's not a finish, it's a preservative. And that's just what I found. People don't like to talk to me about that. They think I'm getting really angry and being a bubba, but whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, you can be a bubba for the slightest of infractions these days.
Weren't you one, Danny, for cleaning the patina off?
You clean rust off a gun, and all of a sudden you're a bubba. You clean the patina off, that gun's worthless now. Yep. Yeah, my video where I just clean the rust off with like a bronze brush and oil. Ever since, and it's funny, I had that video up for a few years, and a few years before, Mark Novak's excellent channel showed how you can, I forgot what he calls it, a whatever. Everyone calls it that now, a restoration or something like that is what he calls it, where you boil the part. So like you take a gun part that's been all rusty and you boil it, and then you dip it in kerosene, and
It's a refurbishment.
Pray to some, Norse god, and then you buff it on a steel wheel, and it turns out perfect and reblued. So ever since he did that video, everyone's called me a bubba now, because instead of cleaning the rust off of the gun, I could, instead boil the parts and do all the steps, and then have a perfect, preserved piece. But Who knows? Time will tell if that stays like a thing or a fad. But ever since Mark did that video, people have been commenting on it like you shouldn't do that. You should instead boil them. It's like, okay, all right. I watched the same YouTube video as you, man. Thanks for telling me.
Thanks for that comment. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm never like angry or like mad that somebody commented something. But like sometimes, man, it's like, like CN Arsenal will put out a video, and all of a sudden you'll have a bunch of like experts over that gun now after that video. So
Cough. You mean like just now, this week?
Yeah, CN Arsenal did his Siamese. Was that yesterday?
It was last night, but yeah, uploaded I think at 11 last night.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of Siamese now. So you're gonna post your Siamese, and people are gonna tell you all about it. Just like
well, most of the time, if they don't have a way to link it, they'll link either Ian's video or now I guess they'll link Othniel's video for CNR.
Yeah, which didn't Othniel get most of that info from Patrick?
Not Patrick directly, but from one of the books that Patrick helped author.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah.
And Patrick was not the main author though, so he was like an article supporter or something like that. I don't know. So like the guy that controls the book rights, I think, is who Othniel talked to.
Yeah. Patrick is an interesting fellow.
Let's leave it at that.
What are you afraid I'm gonna say?
I don't know.
I could tell a story about how we disagreed on Facebook.
It's up to you.
I'll leave it at that. We disagreed on Facebook one time, and he posted many response videos on why I was wrong, which I still don't think I was wrong.
I think you were wrong on principle.
Oh, damn it. It was about my my Moss 36 video.
Well, Danny, we do know that you steal content.
Oh, geez. Thanks a lot. Yeah, you're saying that because we just brought up in the Milsurp World Discord chat. Somebody was talking about I'm not going to say their name, but a gun rental company that I guess also does some YouTube videos. And what was this, like 4 years ago? Just for fun, I made a compilation video of people loading belts. Like loading ammunition onto belts with like the various machines and stuff. I just thought it was really neat. So I just took a bunch of the videos off the internet, put them, edited them all together with music and just posted it. Like, I don't think I monetized it. It's not mine. I just put it on there. Like, hey, look, here's a fun video to watch. Like, it's just kind of how stuff works on the internet. So he was crazy butthurt because I used 13 seconds of footage from one of his videos. So that's where that came from.
I'm just taking it all in. Yeah.
I always knew you were a thief, Danny.
Yeah.
One of the other YouTubers gets on your case all the time.
Oh yeah, the YouTuber that thinks he owns top 5 videos, like he was the one that invented it, and he's the only one that can do it, even though everybody else in the world does it. But yeah.
Yes, that one.
You guys hear about the newest batch that I guess RTI is trying to get in?
Not specifically. I guess we can talk about stuff that's coming into the market. Obviously, the big thing everybody's talking about right now is Carcanos, right, Danny?
Yep, or Carcanos, or whatever you want to call it.
Whatever the hell they are.
If you're not, yeah. Yeah, I guess. Are those still coming in? I mean, I don't really know. Like, since I got the 2 from Axis Arms, I haven't really been paying much attention because
I'm not sure.
So RTI, and they're importing it. I don't know if they're the importer or they're using somebody else, but that batch is coming from Africa, from Ethiopia, and Axis Arms Carcanos that they got in that I bought. Those came from Italy because. That was the big thing with Midway. Midway got a bunch of the Italian M1 carbines and their Carcanos.
Yeah, and I was reading some people talking about it. A guy from Italy was talking about it, and I guess they were like police turn-ins, most of them, and they've been sitting in like the ones that they're coming from Italy, I should say. So like they did programs in like the early 80s and the 90s where they would let like turn in your gun or whatever and we'll give you money or whatever. Yeah, and
Buyback.
a lot of that stuff just set in storage. They didn't destroy them.
Huh, well, that's good for them. They got a little money back, and I guess not very. They didn't get very much money back out of them because what
Well,
did
they're
I?
free.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they paid, if it was a buyback and they had to pay for it,
I don't know what the amnesty thing was. I don't know if it was a buyback or what the deal was, or if
Yeah.
it was like a turn it in or we'll arrest you
Yeah.
kind of thing.
it must have been a super cheap price that the importers negotiated because I think what did I pay? $199
Yeah,
for them.
they were $199 or $250 because I bought one too.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw the pallets and stacks. I mean, I'm sure it
Uh-huh.
was taking up a shitload of space in some storage somewhere. So
Yeah.
I mean, just cut your loss and take whatever you can get out of it. You know.
Yeah. It was $199 and free shipping. So I was like, man, this is going to be like the next Mosin. If I don't buy these, I'm going to regret it because
RTI still has a shitload of Carcanos. I'm looking at their site right now.
yeah. So those are the different one. That's the the
These are Ethiopian ones.
Yeah, RTI's imports are coming from Africa, where Axis and whoever else there's the recent batch from Italy. So, which is kind of crazy that they're still finding it. Like one day the last batch of Milsurps will be uncovered. But it's neat that they're still a thing. The only unfortunate thing is like import marks are becoming a more and more obnoxious over the years.
I will say
like,
this about the RTI ones that I've seen: the import marks tend to be small and under the barrel, or they've put in them under the wood line.
That's cool. That's pretty nice. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Of them
and that's pretty neat. And that's not. I don't think it's RTI doing it. I don't believe RTI is actually the one importing them. I think it's being done through a third party. So, but
there's some acronym for that. I'm drawing a blank on now.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but yeah,
Simpson
I'm looking
Limited. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Simpson Limited, actually, when they import stuff, they put the import mark like on a pistol. They put it where the magazine goes on the base, so you can't see it most of the time. Even it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I think the imports from RTI have been a little controversial.
Yes, there was a recent email. I think it came out today, actually, about it.
Yeah, you want to? I didn't actually read that whole thing.
It wasn't really. The email wasn't a big part of it. It was more basically they're saying that sorry, there's a huge delay. We're trying to get your orders out again. Sorry for the delay. And then also they're like, okay, please be aware these are very heavily used. They're not going to be new in box. These are not for you. If you're expecting that, it literally says that in the thing. And it's like, please be aware that the pictures are just examples. And obviously they're going to pick the best looking examples. They're not going to throw the piece of shit up there.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of it, they link Ian's video where he talks about the beginning of this cache where they started coming in, and his video is talking about the RTI imports.
His older video.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's them linking back to Ian. I don't know if he was involved as far as that mailer, but they're trying to say it especially says in the email. Look what. Please watch what Ian McCullum with Forgotten Weapons has to say about our Ethiopian historical import. It literally calls out Ian, like, look, he's saying it's good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've seen it's a big roll of the dice. The stuff I've seen, it could be okay or it can be just complete rat shit.
Yeah. And depending on what it is too, the prices kind of seem like the
prices are all over.
Yeah, the prices are all over.
Like, for example, I'm looking at it right now. There are M95 long rifles in 8x50R for $350. That's insane. But I have no clue what those look like.
Yeah, or 1888/90s for.
I'm on that one right now.
$550. Yeah.
Russian Berdans for $500. Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, a cut down Berdan for
Yeah.
Not even the
500.
not even the cut down Berdans, but the regular Berdans for 800.
Yeah.
That's nuts. And the
Yeah.
one they have in the picture's got extra holes drilled in it, but even so, that's nuts.
I mean, a lot of these prices are great. The problem is, I think a lot of people are getting drawn in by the price, and it's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, I think we were talking with Mark about this before on like how it seems like a lot of these like importers tend to get top dollar for their stuff. And I was trying to think of like exactly what it is because sometimes like I'm trying to think of who's it Edelweiss. Like Edelweiss, they get some big money for their stuff. Like a lot more than that same exact gun or one very similar would sell.
I will give credit to Edelweiss for one thing though. They list their rifles individually.
That's what I was just going to say. I would rather buy
Yeah.
from Edelweiss because you can see the gun you're buying.
Yeah, Same with Simpson. Simpson does it all individually as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but like that's true. Like that's good on them instead of just like saying, "Hey, this is how much it is," and you have no idea what you're getting.
Yeah,
that super
the
sucks.
M95 long rifles. They're 49 in stock. I don't know what they look like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I think Classic blind sells as well.
Yes, they do, and
Yes, they do.
J&G Sales does as well.
Yeah, J&G. Yeah. So some of those places you just you have
Midway
no idea.
did too, didn't they?
The M1s, I don't know.
I don't think they. I'm pretty sure you didn't get to pick. And same with, I mean, even like organizations that people trust, like the CMP, they don't
Or
let
AIM
you
Surplus.
pick.
Yeah, unless you go to the store.
Yeah, unless you go to the store. I mean, you can go to RTI and pick them out.
Yeah, you select a grade with CMP, but like RTI does have they do have grades. Like they have Enfield number 4 Mark 1 B grade for $350, which again, a number 4 for $350. Like wow, like that's a deal. But then again, what does it look like? There's only one example, in a picture. And
I just got on there. If you look at the scroll all the way down, they link to Ian's video as well as See an Arsenal video.
See an Arsenal video?
Yes. Look at the 1895 long rifles.
The 88s were the same way.
It links to both. I don't know if Matthias knows they're using his videos for this.
Yeah, it does.
Sure, he doesn't mind.
I mean, it gets more views, obviously, but then obviously they're not saying that these are this quality or level or whatever. But like,
yeah, it's. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know.
It's a tough gamble with that much money. Not 350 is not as much of a gamble as like the Labelle at 1250.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
or
that's the
or the Mannlicher 1888 for 800.
Yeah, same. I was looking at them too. The Wedge Locker. Yeah, it's a tough gamble. Moss 4956 is for $900.
Yeah, but what I was trying to get at before is it seems to be like sometimes, maybe not right now with the RTI, but like sometimes certain sellers that are selling big imports get like really top money for their stuff. More so than a comparable gun, like on selling secondhand on like Gunbroker or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, I got what you're saying. It's a boutique kind of thing.
Yeah, like I was trying to figure out like what it is. Like, is it just the fact that like this is freshly imported? Like this just came from this country. Like last year, this was in Africa. Like
I mean, that is kind of. I mean, like, it's a thing. I think I know what it is, Danny. It's because you can trace where it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of like a provenance you have with it. Like, I'm the first owner of this gun after it was, imported in the United States from Switzerland, when I like they, a fresh K31 like that. But, to me,
that's a deal to somebody. That's a big deal to somebody.
Yeah. And I guess that's part of it. Maybe. I think Mark, his point was it's like the instant gratification.
That's also true.
You can go on a website like Classic that just got a batch of SKSs in, and you can click order now, buy, and you'll get one shipped to you. Even if you can't see it, you're getting one right away. You just put in your credit card and you're getting a gun, versus maybe going on Gunbroker and searching and going through the listings and not finding any and then going back next week, So maybe it is some of that, instant gratification that people are willing to pay for too.
It is easier too when you do that, and you know that the rifles are in good condition. Like what is it? Is it NRA grade, very good or something? They're all listed at that. I'd rather buy one of those than something that's, well, here it is. It was in Africa, and it might be kind of shitty. You don't know.
I think
$1,200. Like,
I don't know if RTI does this, but if they did like classic style unboxing videos, where they're like, let's open up the crate and take a look at, all the guns in here. This is pretty typical. Here's a pretty bad one, and here's a pretty good one. We're gonna try to sort these by grades. Like that's pretty like transparent and open and showing the whole batch. And like I would feel better about buying after seeing a video like of these labels. Like, here's a crate of labels we just opened up. Wow, this is a really nice one. Man, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
Here, and this is going to be, I would feel much better after seeing all of them. I don't know if they do, and I don't know about it, or if they don't, and why.
Even if they split them up instead of just, and they do split them up a little bit. Like you could buy a Winchester for $1,200, or you can buy a Remington for $1,300. But why don't you break up the really shitty ones and then just the shitty ones? Because I just want a shitty one. I don't want a real shitty one.
Hey, Danny,
you know what I mean?
Danny, you can buy a Car 88. That would be your bolt you need.
Oh yeah.
Only $800, and you'd still be in it for cheap.
Yeah.
And you got another gun.
Yeah.
Another stick, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So for everybody listening, I talked to a guy. He posted a gun. Every now and then I'll be like in a Facebook gun group, and somebody will post a gun, and just from the wording or whatever, you get the feeling that they don't really want the gun, and maybe they're just looking for a value just because they want to get rid of it or something like that. And so I've just been in the habit of anytime I see that, I'll reach out and be like, hey, do you want to sell this? And I reached back. It was probably months ago, and I reached out and I just said, hey, okay, if you want to sell that, let me know. And then he contacted me today and was like, hey, are you still interested? And I said, yeah. And he sent me some pictures, and it's the Gewehr 91, which, if you don't know that, it's basically like the Gewehr 88, but a carbine version, but not the carbine 88, not the K88. The G91 is the same length, but it has the stacking hook, kind of like on a K98A.
Same but different.
Yeah,
they are different in every way. I can just remember the Othias video from that. Sorry, it's so funny.
Yeah, except it's got different
very
markings.
difficult to find.
Yeah, they are.
Speaking of, RTI had one, I guess, from the Ethiopian cache.
They had one. You know what I mean? I have the 88, the carbine. Danny, I got it from Danny, and it's the only one I've ever seen. And then he showed me that today. I'm like, buy it, just buy it. So
yeah, this one is it's an 1891 dated one. I'm pulling up the pictures. It's a VC Schilling Sewell 1891 dated. Which I'm not like a G91 expert, so I don't know if that's a first year deal or if it was converted from another gun, and that's why it's 1891. But it doesn't have a bolt, is the thing. And I've learned how hard it is to just find a Gewehr 88 bolt face. There's like only one that I know of that's for sale, and it's $200 just for a Gewehr 88 bolt face. It's nuts. Because apparently it's very common to find them without a bolt face. I think Will's selling a G88 that I would have bought, but it's missing the bolt face.
Yep.
It was just like, well, you can just buy one. I'm like, dude, like, look for one.
That's why I told you, go back to 1888. Good luck.
They're refurb, or not refurb. There's someone who makes them on eBay. I saw them today when I was looking for a bolt for you. That they make them on like a CNC machine because they're so uncommon. I mean, it's not an original part, but you could at least shoot it.
Yeah, man, I'd take that. Yeah.
I don't remember how much it was. I'm sure it was like $300 or something, but
yeah.
I know a guy with a CNC machine, so.
Yeah, I need to. So, anywho, this G91 now is just another Roth 1907. It's just another gun that's just missing like one key component, and it's just like it's a paperweight.
It's a stick.
It's a stick with a stacking hook, a short stick.
So, yeah, a shorty stick, a carbine stick, not the long stick. Have we killed that joke? I think we've killed that joke.
Maybe.
Anyway, we talked about the Carcanos and RTI's roll the dice, I guess we'd call it. The other thing I've noticed, Danny, is a lot of not K31s, but a lot of like earlier Swiss stuff has been coming in. Like Simpson has a lot of Swiss, and Edelweiss has a lot of Swiss too. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what their
Simpson,
thing is, but
they had so many Swiss rifles. They had a sale like 20% off of all
yeah,
their Swiss rifles. I was like, oh, they must have a surplus.
AIM had them too.
yeah.
They have 9611s. They had 9611s, 1911s, the 1889s.
Yeah, not K31s I've noticed. Not so much on those, but a lot of the models before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be everybody just wanted a K31 and everything else went for pretty cheap. But I think what had happened was everybody got K31s, thought these things are pretty swell, and then they wanted to get more Swiss guns. So now I think all the older ones are going up. Dang, I'm looking at AIM Surplus's Swiss guns right now, and $699 sold out too. This is what I'm talking about. It's $700 for a freshly imported K31, which is like, I can't tell you how many K31s I've seen lately for like that have sold under $500 in this month, and they sold out at $700. Like that's
That might
something.
be the difference between someone who looks and someone who knows. Like, oh, I'm going to look for K31. Oh, here they are. They're $700.
Yeah, maybe somebody Googles K31 for sale.
Exactly.
They see a website. Yeah.
That's the uninformed consumer, sir.
Yeah.
And good for
yeah, these Chinese Tokarev pistols have been imported pretty big. I've seen them on quite a few websites recently. I'm not like super big into post-war surplus pistols. It don't do it for me, but just I've seen those a lot often.
I'm gonna need to get you into a Makarov, just so you know.
I turned years ago. I turned down a nice East German Mac for $350 or $400, something like that.
I paid $350 for mine, so I don't feel bad. They are the Cadillac of post-war handguns. I love them.
Yeah, can't you open up a beer bottle with them?
You can. I've done it with my Bulgarian.
There we go. That's cliche, man. You can suppress that.
Simpson is just so freaking random.
Yeah, 1893 Swiss rifle for $500 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah. I saw that after it sold.
I was pissed. I saw it too.
Dog.
I guarantee you it wasn't on the site for more than an hour.
Oh no, it probably wasn't.
Yeah, Monlicker M93 for freaking $495.
Yeah,
and it's in great condition too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to check this website more often. I just clicked on the what's new.
That's what I do.
And there's a what?
There's a K43, Danny.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. The mag has been electro penciled. It says it's Arsenal refurnished. Like what? And there's a starburst pattern above the receiver, but it's not. It's a rough forged receiver. I don't know why it'd be. Huh? Yeah, it's a QVE, which is just Berlin Lübecker, like a late war.
The thing that I found confusing in looking through stuff, why are 1891 Argentine Mausers $900?
If you're looking at Simpson, so this is why Simpson is so random and why you really have to be on top of it to find out what they have, is because they are 90% consignment and they will not argue with you about whatever price you put on it.
No, not Simpson. This was on Liberty Tree.
Oh, Liberty Tree. Oh.
Gun Broker too. They're going up.
Yeah. There's one right here. This is an engineer's carbine. It's a bad example. Long rifle, 1891. It's matching. It has the crest ground off. It's nothing fancy. Well, I don't know if it's matching. I didn't look at all the stuff, but $775. What? That's nuts.
Yeah, that is. I that took me for surprise too, man. Like right around the time we went to my honey hole to get all the Argentine Mausers, and
Yeah.
I bought that one. And somebody like because of how good of shape it was, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, that's probably a $800+ gun now." I was like, "What?
Yeah. What?
When did that happen?"
Yeah, when did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. They went up there. Maybe it's part of the problem is these assholes on the internet who keep talking about how great South American Mausers are.
Yeah, that's
Hate
true.
And
Hate them.
and yeah, so because of those guys, they ruining the market.
I mean, that is something we were going to talk about, right? The YouTuber influence.
Oh yeah, yeah. The YouTube effect.
Yeah, the YouTube effect, I think is what we were calling it.
Yeah. What happens because of a famous YouTuber making a video on a gun? It's quite interesting now. Like I guarantee, like we talked about with ICE with the Siamese stuff, I guarantee you, at least temporarily, we're going to see a spike on the prices that Siamese is going to go for because, nobody really knew what it was, and it's just, whatever gun with squiggly letters on it. And now that there's a video that explains it, people understand it more, and people maybe want one. There's also just like the bandwagon effect, I think, or just,
Yeah.
a famous person or maybe somebody that you look up to or respect or whatever likes one and has one, and then you want one. So there's,
But the part that they sail past is if you watch the video, Othias says in it, "I've never shot this before because we've never had ammo for it. This is the first time I've ever fired it." That's a problem, guys.
Yep. That's a big one. And it's very common. Like they're not. Which is why I've said in the past, like it's not, and the whole thing with the rims too, like geez, like all rimmed cartridges, you got to get the rim perfect, which is why like Lee Enfield guys, if you don't have your perfectly shaped, Mark 6 or whatever rimmed, then it's gonna malfunction.
I mean, Mosins do it too.
Yeah, but with Siamese, you have to make the rim, like you're actually making that rim yourself. So then it's a whole thing with you turning down brass and shaping it.
We were talking earlier, even the two companies that make reproduction ammunition, it's converted brass. So if they don't get it right, then you're out the money, and then you still have to fix it.
Yeah. Which is like, this is the thing, and this is how I'm a for real Bubba. I think that there is some merit to the idea of getting a Siamese and converting it to 8x56.
You're still never going to convince me of that.
Because it's, historically speaking, it's in the direct lineage, right? Because it was, they pretty much got the Austrian 8x50, 8x50R, and then they kind of did their own 8x52 thing. But it would be just a slight modification, such a small modification to the gun, and then it would let you, just open up the chamber a little bit by 4 millimeters, shaving off 4 millimeters of chamber.
You'd probably have to modify the rim to...
And also it would explode.
No.
It's, you're shoving a 330 bullet down a 320 barrel.
You would have to put smaller bullets.
Okay. I'm thinking of the people who are like, I've drilled this out to 8x56, and I'm going to shoot this Nazi surplus down it, and then they blow themselves up.
That would
because
blow
it's
up,
a different
yes.
bullet.
Or rebore it too. Maybe just open up the bore a bit.
You have to sleeve it.
No, you'd have to take it out.
No, you have to bore it. Yeah, no, I'm right. You're right. Yeah, I'm just, the more you were talking about it, I'm like, you're going to explode, man.
No, we've talked about this where you could do it. You could just remount the chamber a little bit, and so it would chamber it, and then you would have to do your own hand loads.
Yeah.
So what do you do? You take out 4 millimeters of chamber and 1,000th of a millimeter out of the bore, some crazy small amount that nobody without an electron microscope could tell that you did it to the gun, right? And until you actually try to chamber around. And then at the end, you have a gun that can use 8x56, which is, way more common of a cartridge, and you could actually shoot the thing, instead of,
but I mean,
I reloaded this batch of 50, but who knows how I did on the rims, and maybe 10 out of this 50 is actually going to cycle in the gun, and then but I get that this is sacrilegious, and I'm not promoting it per se.
Well, but the other thing is though, Danny, is that that's a lot of work for an 8mm Mauser that you don't really like. You shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean? You shot it.
I mean,
you shot it.
alternative
Did it
is-
feel any different? It's an export Mauser. That's basically what Othias was saying too. It's like it's a lot of effort for making something again. Like just getting I don't know, not a K98, but like a whatever, like one of the South American ones we talked about. But it wouldn't be 8mm.
Yeah. And I guess the point of it would just be to duplicate that whole shooting experience, the whole rimmed ammo shooting experience.
Like, do you know how long it took me to make the 100 rounds of British ammo or Dutch ammo?
How long?
It probably, and loading it probably took me 8 to 10 hours to make 100 rounds, like all day. And that's, I didn't have to trim any rims, but actually shaping cases and all that, it actually takes a long time to do it right once you figure out how to do it, because a lot of that was R&D, figuring out how to actually make it.
Yeah, get the 303 down. Yeah.
So, cutting the chambers, even more work.
Yeah. I mean, again, I feel like I'm not like for this enough to be defending it, but I'm just in my head. This is just something you would drop by like to a qualified gunsmith, and they would make this sort of conversion happen for you, and that way you didn't have to spend 40 hours trying to reload the perfect amount of ammo.
Yeah.
For a rather obscure Mauser. But then, yeah, is the juice worth a squeeze? If you're a big enough Siamese fan that you want to do all that work, you're probably not going to want to modify the gun at all and shoot the original caliber.
Or pay the gunsmith $50 an hour or whatever they charge. I don't know what they charge.
That's the issue is going to be the cost of the actual machining work.
Yeah.
I think the cost of the gun itself, the cost of the change, is going to outstrip like you said, the juice worth a squeeze.
Yeah, most likely, unless you get the gun for like next to nothing, and it's worth it to you, for the.
But now it's well known, Danny.
Or like the guys that did it in 410, the guys that were gunsmiths, they were in gunsmith school, so it was their project, so they got to do all the work for free.
Oh yeah, the 4570 ones.
Or I thought they were 410.
Yeah.
No.
So maybe that's the thing, right? Don't do the 8x56 conversion on an original one. Get one that was converted to 4570, and then convert it to 8x56.
Everybody talks about those. I've seen one.
I've never seen one. Yeah.
I've seen one.
Yeah. In the video, Othias kind of said it in a way that made it seem like that's like they're very common, but.
I've only ever seen one.
Yeah, I think I've only seen one as well. I've seen, this is funny, I've seen more M95 Mannlichers in 4570 than I have Siamese Mausers.
I know, same here.
Which every time I find one of those, I send it to you, Aaron. I'm like, dude, you need to buy this. Friggin' 4570.
It's such a weird, I guess because it's rimmed, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I know, they're like, this gun shoots... It's got a rimmed caliber, so we can put it 4570. My man,
such a strange leap.
Yeah, and they had huge like bull barrels on them too. It was so weird.
Yeah, they were weird looking.
M95 with a
not a long rifle, we should say. This is a Stutzen or a short rifle. This is like a weird, like somebody took some time to make these, and it wasn't just one. Like Danny said, it's been multiples.
The first one I was like, wow, I'll never see something like that again. And then it was relatively short time I saw the second one. It was like, that's weird. And it was a different gun. It wasn't the same exact gun.
It's got to have been like some importer must have done them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, so the one that did the Siamese that offered it was Navy Arms. And they seem to have a reputation of this, like, we'll do whatever you want. Because they did all kinds of weird shit. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Navy that did the tanker. That was somebody else. But they also did... They didn't do it first, I don't think. But they also did the jungle carbines, quote-unquote.
Oh, yeah.
There was... I don't remember. There was some listing I saw somewhere. They were trying to sell a. Oh, it was Mustache Man. That's who it was. I won't say the name out loud, but he was selling a 2A1 that was in jungle carbine configuration, quote unquote. That didn't
Yeah.
happen. Anybody that doesn't know, that doesn't happen. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that's that just made me think of when you said that was like the tanker of non-Bubba Bubbas that exist.
Oh yeah, the
Guns
um,
that have been like Milsurps that have been permanently modified, and it's not like super looked down on by the community,
oh, I know a good
which
one, a good
which is
example.
tankers.
Well, not just tankers. The one I posted to the group chat earlier, the Monlicker style stock M1.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's anybody would look at that. I'm saying guns that most people don't look at and go, "Oh, that's a shame." You know what I mean? Like anybody would look at somebody that put like a dumb commercial Monlicker stock on a Milsurp and think that that's bad. But like if you
I
saw
thought
a
it looked
tanker,
okay actually.
if you saw a tanker, you'd be like, "Oh, that's neat. I'd like to have one of those." You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, a short M1. That's cool and handy." Um, but yeah, the jungle carbines, a lot of because there's tons of fakes. Like I've noticed there's just over the years I've noticed a lot of SMLE jungle carbines,
Yeah.
which never existed.
Nope. No, that's a very common because it was cheaper to get those because they came into the market first.
Yeah, so like nobody that's maybe a little bit more so an SMLE turned into a jungle carbine, but most people just like buy them. They're not, because they're this is a neat light handy SMLE, and it's at least in the guise of a legit gun. And I think lastly, there's not a lot of these. Like you don't see these. But the Delisle carbines, the Leonfield, and the ones that are like integrally suppressed and converted to 45.
Oh,
Like 1911 mags.
yeah.
Those, like the only ones that exist are, ones that, were you take a number 4 and or an SMLE or whatever, and you cut on it to turn it into that.
But that gets to the point where it takes on a life of its own as far as like there are people that like some of the crag sporters that were done by professional companies. There are people that like that's a whole subsection of collectors that really like put money towards them, you know what I mean?
Or like the Bannerman Mosins and 30
Yeah,
outsets.
yeah.
Well, if it was done, like it's kind of like with Bannerman, that was done 100 years ago.
Yes.
So if it's like done 100 years ago, then it's collectible. Then it's not like a shame so much. Like, oh no, this was just a company 100 years ago that did it. So it's like not as terrible of a thing.
I guess it's kind of similar to how like a Shelby Cobra, it's like it was a Mustang, but then this other company bought it and made a bunch of modifications to it, and now it's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that just reminded me. Well, kind of like with the Delisle, hardly any of them. So it's a real gun that I don't know how many of them were made, and then and people want to own them because they're neat. So you have to modify a gun in order for this rare gun to exist, because otherwise nobody would, would have one. And I think Ian did that with his Berthier carbine. He got Mark, Mark Novak to modify
put a
it.
Shosho mag in it.
Yeah, to fit a choo-choo mag, which is like again, it's I guess if what you're modifying a Milsurp for is to mimic a rare variant, like a variant or something, then I guess it's like a non-Bubba Bubba.
Well, I mean that gets into
Really just
the
non-Bubba.
conversation of clones, which we can talk about, like we talked in our Discord earlier this week about 1897 trench gun clones.
Oh yeah.
Like, is that a Bubba? What is that?
Well, I'm gonna say mostly no, because
no.
the 1897 clones are made from commercial guns. Like
yeah, but would you say it was a Bubba to destroy the commercial gun to make a clone?
No, I don't think modifying a commercial gun is like a Bubba thing. I don't know. Maybe if it's super old or rare commercial gun, I guess.
Well, what about like a commercial Luger or a commercial C96 to modify it to make it like a military one?
There's a line somewhere.
Well,
I
that's
think
why
the,
I'm not trying to say either way. I'm just saying like, no, I get what you're saying. Like, oh, it's just an old shotgun, but that's still the same terms like statement that people will say about putting a Mosin in an Archangel. It's just a Mosin, you know?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that putting in a Mosin in an Archangel stock is a Bubba thing.
No,
Or it's not a Bubba gun. I
no,
guess it's a
because
Bubba thing,
it's not
but it's
permanent.
not a Bubba gun.
It's
yeah,
not
'cause it's
permanent.
not permanent.
I get that. But you get my point.
Yeah, I don't think it's a Bubba thing with the fake trench shotguns, because I think they're just taking an old commercial hunting shotgun and trying to make a clone of a trench gun. The gun starts off in like a more simple bare bones version, and it's getting stuff added to it. Where in a lot of cases, like Bubba's sort of do the opposite. They cut stuff off a gun to like reduce the weight. Cut the wood and take all that metal off, throw it away. Now it's a light hunting gun. And with trench guns, it's sort of the opposite.
yeah, I would say it's not, because you're taking something that is like very, very common and not desirable because they're cheap, and you're making it more valuable by changing it.
But are you?
A fake trench shotgun sells more than an 1897 like really long bird gun, because there's a billion of them.
You'd be surprised how cheap a lot of those 1897s go for. I've seen them like over the years, like for pretty cheap. They always catch my eye because I'm like, ooh, trench shotgun, like I have that sort of thing. But then I'm like, wow, that's really cheap. Like, why is this only $300 or whatever? And they made a ton of them. They're less expensive. And then if you put that gun,
you guys are sounding the same arguments.
If you put it in the trench,
they made millions of them.
I don't know if it's millions, tens of thousands.
You get what I'm saying? You're making the same arguments.
To me, a Bubba gun is a gun that is made from something into something that you want. That's not like anything else.
Is that not converting a commercial shotgun to a military?
Like anything else.
No, because you're taking a commercial shotgun and making it into a military configuration shotgun, which is a common set thing.
Well, but it's not going to be the military configuration. Like it will have a takedown stock versus an actual stock, right?
True, but a Bubba gun, let's say an 03, $1,000. You do all your crap to it, and now it's worth $200. Good job, dumbass. You can take a $200 shotgun, put all this crap on it, and now it is a $1,000 replica 1897 trench gun. Because a real trench gun is $5,000. So you've actually increased the value of the gun.
Let's do this argument the other way then. Do you think it's a good idea to continue encouraging this practice with the issue of we're interchanging the word fake and clone, and the difference is a clone is somebody not trying to sell it as something it's not, and a lot of these get sold as fakes. Yeah,
a lot of them
That's
are.
True.
It's somewhere along the lines. I don't know if it's greed, people lying that it's a fake, or people not knowing. Like one owner to the next. It gets lost somewhere, and then the first owner knew it was a clone. By the time it gets to the third or fourth owner, oh yeah, this thing was real. My grandpappy brought it back from the war, and so without that, I guess the thing is, Aaron, like if you think about like what Bubba gun can you think of that a Bubba turned into a military configuration gun? You know what I mean? Like if the only example I could think of is, I can't even remember the name of the gun. There's a Remington post-war commercial gun that's based on the 1917. So like, imagine if I can't remember.
Are you talking about an example that's a commercial gun?
Yeah. So,
okay, well I can't do that, but I can tell you, what about people that make quote-unquote clones using drilled and tapped like Mosins or K98s, like sniper clones.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a thing too. That's where we're getting into the.
Because that's something that exists too.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah, and I've seen quite a few fake snipers.
Those are inner arms guns.
And I've never seen. I don't think I've seen one being passed off as real. Most people say, "Hey, this is a good," because you could look at it and you could tell like this was a Russian capture that somebody drilled and turned into a fake sniper. I think that's
but inner arms even did it. Like they drill them
what those guns was
M9130s.
Yeah, they made them into PU snipers.
Oh yeah,
because they got a shitload of M9130s and they got a shitload of PU scopes, but nothing to put them on because they didn't have any of the snipers. So they drilled holes and sold them as snipers.
Man, I remember when those got imported. They were so cheap. Yeah, those have gone up quite a bit, even though they're like fakes. People pay a lot of money for those now. Yeah. Ugh. See, that's where you're getting into some weird line because, again,
then we can. I'm going to transition you back into Mitchell's.
Oh, see, that's apples and oranges, man. So with the PUs,
how is it different to restamp versus selling a fake PU gun?
Well, if those guns were sold as, I think they were like sold as clones, weren't they? I can't remember that far.
I don't know. I don't remember the original listing, but as far as I know, most people take them as real.
If you look at the price of one of those fake snipers and the price of a random 9130, that fake sniper is going to be worth more. So they made something that is genuinely, it's worth more money. So like it's not like sporterizing a 1903, right? So it's not quite the same thing. Now what Mitchell's did is they just obliterated the finish of a gun, refinished it, restamped, and
sanded
then sanded it, and then like with the K98Ks, polished the bolts to make them in the white.
And then they stamped like death's heads on some guns. I remember that. I remember the ads.
So it's just it's two different things. Is when you take a gun and you crazy refinish, like poorly, stupidly refinish it.
So we're saying that Mitchell's is past the line. We're saying
yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, Mitchell's is far into the Bubba.
Okay, what about Century redoing the Moss 36s and the Moss 4956s into 308?
308, yeah. I would say probably that's Bubba.
I would say that's past the line because it's changing the caliber.
Yeah, and the job they did is not like a great job.
But we just had the argument or just had the discussion about Bannerman stuff, which changed in the caliber.
Yeah,
I also agree that is Bubba.
So here's the thing, though.
It's just old. It's Bubba's grandpa.
Yeah, in 100 years from now, maybe the Century, if they haven't all blown up by then or whatever, but like maybe in 100 years.
I don't know if they have an issue with blowing up. I just don't think they feed at all.
The 308. Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
I think the issue is feeding. They don't have
bad with them.
The magazine is the issue. I think on those.
If any of them are still working in 100 years, maybe those and for some reason those are more, sought after or whatever. Maybe, but for right now, in 100 years from now, it may get unbubba. It might be not because, and I mean, maybe I don't think we said Bannerman wasn't Bubba.
I think that it is.
I thought we had discussed that it was Bubba. Because it was more valuable because it was old.
I think Bannerman was probably a Bubba because I don't know if a Bannerman 30-06 converted like Mosin is worth more than like the same exact Mosin, but like perfect military configuration. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I haven't really looked into them, but I know that they bring good money.
I think one of the factors of whether or not something is a Bubba or not is, does it add value or does it take away value?
And I would say drastic value.
Fairly drastically.
$100. Like the PUs were
in half
I could buy a 9130 for $88, or I could buy a PU for $1,000, or I could buy a $200 shotgun, and a kit, and I could make it a $1,500 fake trench gun. Like those are drastic changes versus And the other way too, I buy $1,000 03 and I do all my dumb shit to it because I'm a moron, and now it's worth $200. Good job. Like, you've drastically changed the value. And it works another way too. One that you guys forget is actually the Greeks. How many Greek guns were made from military configuration into the hunting configuration? Because those rifles are ridiculously expensive.
Oh, the Mannlicher Schonauers.
Yeah.
Yep.
To buy one of those, that's they're the military surplus ones are $1,500.
They're stupid rare too.
Yeah, the hunting ones from the 50s are like $2,500
or more. I've seen him go nuts.
My buddy has one.
I don't know who's buying those. Like, I don't think I meet like people who really even know like what an old commercial Mannlicher Schonauer rifle is, like, let alone a Greek Mannlicher. Like, it's such a weird.
Said my friend has one. That's the only reason I even knew they existed. It's in $270.
There's got to be like 10 rich guys that just buy them all or something like that, because they are high money stuff.
Yeah, said it can go both ways. It's just strange.
So maybe not always, but I think a factor in the Bubba scale is, does it add or take away value?
And I think it should be rarity. So like the Greek thing I feel is rare, and I think that you shouldn't do that because there's only 100,000 or whatever of them. So the pool is very small.
Yeah. So does it increase value of the gun, you think? Or is that the exception now to the rule? Like, it does increase value, but it is Bubba.
And it's significant value increase.
I would say, let's drop my keyboard. I would say that it does increase value, but it's still Bubba because you're still breaking one of the rules, which is you're taking a rare gun and making it even more. You're not even making it a more rare gun. You're just making it a different one.
You're making it a more desirable piece.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. It's, I would say, drastic change in price and then overall starting base. So like the number one selling shotgun in America for years was the 1897. They made 1 billion of them. And, are they that rare? No. So I understand, old wore out shotgun that you can go buy for $200. So that's a drastic increase. I'm not saying go do it, but I'm saying you can buy fake ones for way cheaper.
Yeah, and I think one of the distinctions was the gun super common and not valuable? And if you're starting from a gun that's very common and not valuable, doing something to it to turn it into a clone of a gun that is very valuable and sought after.
With the understanding of knowing that it is fake. You're not doing it like being a douchebag.
We're getting a lot of caveats here.
Hey, you want to level this thing out. We're doing it.
Yeah. This is the fine.
I don't think this is something that anyone has ever talked about, is the exact specification of what this means.
Yeah, I don't think so, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta lay down some rules.
Yeah. If we're gonna bitch, we have to know what we're bitching about.
The specialty sporters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tanker M1s sell for more money. The ones that I've seen.
Huh. Yeah, that's an interesting one, and maybe it is. That's the tankers are somewhere along the lines, and I don't know if they're still in business, but I remember seeing some company that you could send them your M1 and they would turn it into a tanker for you and send it back.
There was a guy on one of the Facebook groups we're in that did it himself.
Yeah. We'll see that, or I also heard, like I've talked about this before, how you can convert an M1 to take the BAR mags.
Yeah.
And like, hey, is that Bubba?
Well, I mean,
I guess if it's just a trigger guard, then, or like
because that you could argue is putting the modification on the SKS that lets you put a magazine on it, or a detachable magazine. Is that Bubba?
I mean, that's
not
just
permanent though.
That's just trashy. putting like one of those 30
round Tapco mags in it. Yeah, you just pull the mag out of it, and then you can put the 30 round Tapcos in. Yeah, we were all in the 90s. We know.
Which I think the BAR mag conversion for the M1, I think that just you modify, I guess, the stock and the trigger guard, I guess, and you don't modify the receiver. I can't remember if you have to modify the receiver or not. If you do, it might be, I don't know. See,
I've not heard that one.
I haven't
Yeah,
either.
you can look it up. I saw like a website which showed you like how to do it. Maybe you do have to like trim some of the inside of the receiver, like to turn it into a magwell. Um, but that was like that's around the line. Somewhere around there is the bubble line. Because you're taking away like the best thing about the M1. And what's the best thing about the M1, guys?
That the magazine holds 7 rounds.
That it goes ping.
I would have to agree with Jared. It's because the magazine only holds 7 rounds. And I want everybody on the YouTube video to tell Danny that it only holds 7 rounds, just so everybody knows.
I tried it.
does.
It actually does.
It does. It's like, how many rounds does the M95 magazine hold?
5.
5.
4.
Yes, but no. It's a clip. It's an M block. You can't push it down. I know.
But you remember my 35M video?
You could do that on that?
That held 5. Yep. You could put the hole in without stripping the top one off and close the mag
That's
on the
weird.
35M.
Because it's positive feed, so I'm pretty sure those are still positive feed. I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised. It just, when you push it in, it goes in that little bit extra and it lets you close the bolt like empty.
Well, that's the reason why the M95 is you can't put you're not supposed to single load it. It's supposed to be positive feed only from the clip because of the way the extractor is designed. So like it makes sense. They're not meant to be closable with the bolt with a round out of the chamber because it has to load it that way.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't just opening it on an empty chamber with a full mag not work?
I don't know. Maybe that's just the way it was designed. I don't know.
That's just something I do with, like, I've done over the years with my guns, because I like to. I don't really do this anymore.
Wasn't
really,
that the French method of doing things?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, with their the French did it. That's weird.
That's
now
why
that
the
I think that I do it the French way.
the Lebel and the Berthier don't have safeties because they were not meant to be carried into battle with the round loaded.
Yeah, that makes sense. But no, I like safeties and carrying them. I can't remember a time I really like used like a safety hunting or whatever. I would just typically as far as it would go for me, I would you would use a safety hunting. But when I would go hog hunting, I'd have a gun like my M1. It would have 7 rounds in it. It'd have an empty chamber. Because I don't want to store a gun, with the one in the chamber. I'll see hogs. I grab the M1 out of wherever it's stored. I can go outside. I can rack the gun, and then I could shoot. Pretty much. And now I get you don't want the sound of like racking in the gun, maybe to give it away or whatever. But anywho, I just would try to figure that out with my guns. Is like how could I make the magazine full and not have one in the chamber and the bolt be closed? So I kind of did that with all the guns and found out, which is how I know that, which is not militarily relevant at all. It's just one of those fun facts, I guess.
I think that's just how the in-block system has to work, is because the in-block is the clip is forming the magazine feed lips, so like that's why it has to be done that way. But
yeah,
then,
like the clip hits a rock bottom.
But then, like you said, the M35 or the 35M didn't work that way, and then we just said the Berthier is done the same way, where it's an M-block, but you can close the bolt. I don't know. It just seems
tried it on a Birdie yet.
Well, I mean, that's how they carried him, though. I know that's that's what everybody says, at least.
Yeah. That's.
It's got to be just a doctrine thing, I guess. Just like we don't care. We want it available as soon as possible. We wanted the ability to do what the safety issue or I guess it kind of goes back to the idea of a magazine cutoff too, where you would single load and then switch to the magazine when you needed rapid fire. Like that idea of you want your troops to only fire one at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, just kind of like another safety in a way, just carrying with it empty chamber. But with the M1 rifle, the thing is every time you chamber around, though, it does have a light primer strike. So that's one of another reason why I would typically always try to have that thing like not, loaded mag, empty chamber. Because I didn't want to, constantly, chamber and rechamber around with that light primer strike. Which is something I wanted to try. I wanted to do a video where I just basically did that a whole bunch of times, like just kept like rechambering the same like commercial load. Because military rounds, harder primers, I don't think it's an issue. But with commercial, more sensitive primers, I bet it might be an issue.
Oh, you should get some of those safe for M1 30-06 commercial loads.
Man. Yeah.
And then be like, is it safe? Do super clickbait video. Safe for M1 loads. Is it safe?
The next time I send you some ammo, remind me to send you 1 round of 30-06 because I set my primers deeper for that reason. So you always set your primers flush, but the M1 primers I set by hand, and I set them way deeper. That way it doesn't light strike. So you could try one. And they're just regular, good old-fashioned CCI primers, so you could try one of mine too.
And they shoot fine and everything?
Oh, yeah. Cycle an M1 like crazy. They're M2 ball. Like it's 150 grain, 48.95 powder. I don't remember the charge. I'm not saying it over to YouTube. Like, but yeah, like the primers. I remember watching a guy. He doesn't have any videos anymore. It was Gun Nut 357 mag. He loaded all kind of ammo. He was awesome, cool dude, and that was something he did. And I watched all his stuff religiously because that's how I learned how to reload, was watching him do it. And I always set my primers deeper, and I don't get light strikes. So
I mean, that makes sense with commercial primers.
Yeah, I use
and the military. The military fixed it by making them harder.
Yeah. So the next time when I send you ammo for your Reichs revolver, whenever you send me the brass and stuff, I'll put 1 round of 30-06 in there. You can try mine too. You can try all 3, like the M2 ball. You can try one of mine. You can try the commercial safe. You can try
man, we're just coming up with Danny's ideas here. Where's our cut? Where's our cut, Danny?
Dude, I told you I came up with that idea already.
But you haven't done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I have a list of video ideas to do. That video would require me at a place where I could shoot, but if I go to a place I'm going to shoot, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to do my controllable carbine showdown video next. Or some other, shooting video.
Nice. I want to know how that brass does.
Or your Viguero video that you didn't do.
Yeah, I brought a Portuguese all the way there.
Yeah.
Just saying, I lent it so you could do the video, Danny.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Portuguese K98K.
Yep.
Stupid rare. Viguero 1903-39, I think is what it is.
I think you're right.
And so you could directly compare them side by side.
And we did. Just so you know, we did compare them.
We did.
You just didn't film it?
Nope.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we were just shooting the breeze or whatever and looking at guns.
Because I brought it. I even went out of the way and bought the correct stock for it because it had a K98K stock.
Yeah, one day.
And I had to.
Oh, I forget they have different stocks.
They do. I had to spend the $300 to buy a real stock for it, which I mean it needed anyway, so it kind of pushed me to do it. And I'm not bitching. I'm actually saying it was a good idea. But yeah, I got the right stock for it and everything, so it was legit. He was drooling on it. I had to wipe the drool off of it before I put it back in the case.
Yeah.
When are you going to see one of these again?
When you bring it back, so we
when
can
I bring
do
it
the
back.
video.
Yeah.
Oh no! And Danny will be offered one for $50 because it's some guy's thing he found in a shed or something.
Yeah. Hey, I found this really weird looking K98.
I swear it's you, Gage, and Mark, Danny. I don't understand it.
I think Gage and Mark a lot more than me.
Yes.
Some of that stuff they post, I'm like, geez, man. Here's a like the one that Mark just bought. He bought it for $900.
Which one?
The 1893.
Okay, that one.
Yeah, the Belgian Ottoman 1893 that he got. I'll put it this way. He paid, I think, less than a quarter of what I sold mine for.
Wow.
We'll put it that way. Yeah. I think he just knows the right people and is around at the right time, and he shops around a lot.
I mean,
and he knows what he's looking at.
We've had this discussion before, though, where a guy walked into Gage's shop to sporterize a Luxembourg Mauser.
Yeah, that's
that's
crazy.
And it's just like, for anybody that doesn't know, those are stupid rare. Like maybe 1 or 2 in the U.S.
Yeah, Luxembourg's a
something like
duchy.
that.
Like,
Yeah, they're a little teeny tiny country that bought some of the Swedish contract ones, but they're different.
Right at the very end, right?
Yeah, different front, like nose cap, barrel band, like bayonet attachment point.
And I
So,
think it doesn't it say Luxembourg on it?
uh, no, it might have an L prefix to the serial. Just going off memory right now, I can't really remember.
I thought they were denoted in some other way besides just
No,
the
it just
configuration.
says Mauser Obendorf
Okay.
1900 on the receiver serial number, and then different front band. So to everyone listening, if you see a 1900
That's
Mauser
weird
Obendorf
looking.
Mauser, and it has like a Spanish style sort of front bayonet on it, like buy that. That's a Luxembourg. I forgot what Gage said. Somebody offered him for it.
I don't remember
Like
what he's been offered
30
for it.
grand or something.
Yeah, but
something.
it's like one of potentially. I know there's less than half a dozen in the U.S. for sure. So there's less than 6, and then those Belgian captured Ottoman guns are super rare too, right?
Yeah. There's not one, like when I did the video on it. I was trying to do research, and it was hard because the Belgian 1890 Ottomans are a little bit more common. But I think Mark said he's only aware of like 3 of the 1893 Ottoman Belgian captures in the U.S. The one I had.
Just to think about the logistics of that is crazy. Like, it was captured in, I'm assuming somewhere on the way east side of the Mediterranean, ended up back in Belgium, and then somehow ended up in the U.S. Over the span of 70 years, ended up in the U.S.
Yeah, I think they said the majority of them were captured during the Mesopotamia campaign. And then, because it takes the same ammo, same clip that the Belgians already used. So it was very easy for them
It was just like, here you go.
Yeah.
I found this one. It's got goofy marks on it, but it shoots straight.
Yeah, very very comparable to what you already got. So
it was pretty funny though when he posted it, when Mark posted it, and I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but the guy from Turkey that's big on Ottoman stuff. He's like, I'm really glad they didn't mess up the markings, and it's like, of course they didn't. Why would they? It's more time.
Yeah.
The best part, I think, is everybody that replies to the Ottoman 1893 and is like, "Oh, I have a Turkish Mauser, paid $300 for it."
Or, yeah, you do.
Yep.
You do have a Turkish Mauser. Good work.
Here's your cookie. Go eat it in the corner.
I mean, I posted my M9524, and I'm 90% sure most of the replies were like, I have one of those, were actually not one of those.
Yeah. And the big /24 is pretty, like, it's not hidden on the receiver.
No.
Surprised nobody.
I honestly, I think it was because I didn't say it was like $1,000 that people didn't freak out, but
maybe you should have, man.
I knew what I paid for it, and it was a good deal.
You should have just been like, I paid $1,200 for this. So excited.
Do you know what's funny? Get all the people what's funny is, okay, so I think we need to wrap up here soon because I need to go get my wife some dinner. But I'll say this though, because this was a thing that started off yesterday or last night when Othias' video came up on the Siamese, which was a little bit of controversy. Controversy, ready, Danny?
Yeah.
So a bit of a scandal. Back in 2017, I emailed Othias with my first contract Siamese Mauser and offered it to him for use, which he declined at the time, saying they were only going to use rifles and pistols and shotguns used in World War I. Well, now we've moved beyond that, obviously. And I'm like, what's the matter, man? I offered you the first contract so you could have had both of them there side by side. Because he has a second contract in his video.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you mean? You never offered it to me. And I'm like, yes, I did. And I sent him back the email chain. And he emails me back with, God damn it was misfiled. It's just like, damn it.
So what you're saying is now there's only one YouTube channel with the first contract Siamese on it.
With the first and second contract and comparing them directly.
On the whole interwebs, only one.
And that is Milsurp World. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. Not Facebook. Do we have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we do.
Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts, although you're already doing that if you're listening to this. Anyway.
Yeah. I wonder if that'll get more views. That video will get more views now. Like that people will be.
Oh, I doubt it.
They'll watch it and then want to watch other Siamese Mauser videos, maybe.
I mean, it doesn't have any other info than what Othias put in his, and it's a lot less production.
Got this goofy looking rifle with squiggly lines on it. Oh, look, another one.
Most of the time, whenever I've posted it, that's most of the answers.
I was really just being smart.
No, I'm not even joking. People say,
yeah.
What's that squiggly lines?
I believe you.
Oh yeah. The best thing is when you post a foreign gun like that and you ask, hey, can anybody translate this? What people say.
Oh god, no, you never want to ask,
Nope.
especially if it's an Asian language.
Oh yeah, no.
What it translates to.
What is the most common response? Something like Chinese food or
something like eat food or something. I don't know. It's so dumb. And everybody thinks they're amazing jokesters and they all think it's hilarious.
I think they're the first ones to come up with that.
Yeah. But anyway, I am going to compile a list of my stuff again to offer to Othias, and he's going to. He didn't say he would promise to. I asked him if he would promise to catalog it properly this time, and he said, I can't make a promise. But anyway, one of the things that I think they'll probably end up taking is my M95-24 because it's
cool.
It's
post-war though.
No, eventually. This is obviously an eventual thing.
Yeah.
Because eventually they're moving past World War One.
Eventually.
They kind of have already, to be honest.
In another 5 years.
But whatever.
They got a lot of guns to go through still, like pre-World War One.
Whatever. Who gives a shit?
Where's my 1911 video?
I was just saying, who gives a crap about it?
Where's my 1911 video?
I don't want to hear about sleep. I want to hear about Colt.
Yeah, I wish, like, I would have. Maybe does he do this already? Like, does he say like, hey, I'm planning on doing this video on this gun soon? Anybody have one of these? Does he do that, or does he rely on people reaching out first?
What does he do? What he does is people that have emailed him offering stuff, he catalogs that and supposed to have organized it and saved it so that he can search it back up later when they're doing something and go, oh, this person has this. I'll reach out to them and see if they're still willing to do this.
Yeah, because like when I saw his this Swiss 1893 carbine, I was like, oh man, like I would have loaned him mine. Like mine is in better shape than that one. Didn't have a bent up trigger guard and stuff. But then again, and then after when he did his Norwegian 1894 Krag video, I reached out and was like, hey, do you need a carbine? He was like, yeah, we already filmed it. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. They release an episode and then everybody offers.
Yeah, and that's what he was talking in their Discord earlier today actually, where they complained in the video that they couldn't find a carbine, and they'll probably get like 50 people going, I got one.
Yeah. Which like maybe they should do like an announcement video or something like, hey, we need this gun and this gun and this gun,
Hit like a hit list.
But the issue is going to be you're just going to get flooded with shit.
I don't have one of them, but I got one of these.
If they need it, they
I mean, whatever. But that's on them as far as
I don't know, man. That's just my idea to them. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about on
All
this.
Right. Well, we need to wrap it up.
You guys, did you hear of or watch the video on the Catalog It app from Ian?
Oh yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I watched the video on it and I was like, this is pretty neat. I went and looked into it, and it's free up to 50 items. So when I saw that, I'm kind of like, this isn't, It seems like the type of person that would be most interested in this is the type of collector with more than 50 guns. And it's $15 a month subscription for it, which I was like, huh.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like $15 a month. That's like I could get like concealed carry insurance for $15 a month or something like that. I don't even know if that's true. I'm just saying that, but it's like I don't know. But I was thinking about it, and somebody mentioned this before too, where I was talking about my like Excel spreadsheet that I use to keep like all my guns in. and I'm thinking I don't know how to like release it, but I'm actually going through and like making an example spreadsheet where basically it's like empty and people can just sort of like plug in their guns into it. And I'm thinking about just like making one of those and kind of making it available maybe to like the people who can't, like afford a subscription or something like that, or just,
Make
or
it available to
don't
your
want it.
Patreons.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, at the very least, yeah, offer it to them. But
Well, before we move on away from this catalog it app thing, something that was brought up on Othias' CN Arsenal Discord was this is a cloud-based application, so all of your information is now online.
That's why I write all of mine down in a book.
And now it does state in the EULA for this, because I looked it up at lunch today, that they do not. It states specifically that they do not own the images that are uploaded. Those are kept as copyrights for you as long as they're not copyrighted to begin with. Essentially, basically, it's covering their ass in case you upload copyrighted material. And then also saying that they don't own anything you upload. Like if you upload stuff to Facebook, Facebook technically owns that now. Like you've given them permission to take it. So fun, everybody that's uploaded pictures to Facebook. Woohoo!
Man,
Anyway,
you mean they own my nudes now?
exactly.
Shit.
But anyway,
my OnlyFans are gonna be pissed.
but the argument has always been like they can get access to your stuff, and potentially, like obviously the super paranoid aspect of it is if the government says they want your shit, they're going to come and say give us to us, and they're going to take it. So I don't give a shit about this. I'm not going to buy or sell this, or I'm not going to say anything like that, but like a lot of people we were talking today about it were like no, like if it's online, then, and it's always online because it's subscription based. So it has to check to see if your subscription is valid, and it also like you can put it on your phone, and
it sits on your phone.
Yeah, so like it's always online. So like I don't know about that. So if anybody that's looking into it, that's a little thing that we're like.
Yeah, the firearms community is a rather paranoid community.
Hey, I make a mean tinfoil hat. All right, like. I got stickers on it.
Do you mean your honey hole guy that lives in his shop?
Yeah. But I mean, like there is this is a little bit outside with I don't know if you heard about this with like your DNA. Like if you get a DNA test like to like ancestry.com or whatever, like the government can order them to turn over your DNA. And so to me, and they a lot of times like 23andMe and those websites, I forgot one of them. The police department said, "Hey, we need the DNA of this guy," and 23andMe just went ahead and like handed over all of them, like they're like a whole catalog of like thousands of people's DNA just over to the police, like just cause like, oh well, here's them all, it's in there somewhere, and I would see a company like catalog it maybe. Like they can't do anything if the government's like, turn it over now. Here's a court order or whatever. Not saying that they would do this willingly or anything, but yeah, there is that paranoid aspect where I think more reasonably minded individuals that know they aren't doing anything wrong and there's nothing to hide maybe won't think it's such a big deal. But I think the firearms community is rather paranoid and probably don't want that kind of stuff online. But I like the idea of it. Like I think of a company like making like a product geared specifically towards firearms, like especially today, it's a neat thing.
I will point this out. It's kind of been buried because he did it too late. But Othias did post on Ian's video of the catalog it, and he sent a picture of it, which was cloud subscription. Look at Mr. Has Money McTrust the government over here.
That's money.
I lost my composure. That was great.
Yeah.
Damn. I need to see that.
We're not paranoid people.
He said it was a diplomatic way to say fuck that.
We are not a paranoid people. We are cautious people who have learned from history.
Yeah. Yeah. So at least with this Excel spreadsheet, you
To all the other tinfoil hatters out there, I write all of mine down in a book. And actually, I had my wife write them down in the book because she's got better handwriting than me. That's the way to do it. Because you can't hack a book. That's the same reason I pay all my bills with a check. Because
you do.
yeah, I do.
Wow.
I
So
don't
does
want to
my
pay any
mom.
bill.
Well,
Yeah,
hey, what's up, Boomer?
Hey, you can't hack a check. Well, you probably can.
Most places actually don't. I mean, yes, you can. Have you not seen
Let's say you probably
Catch
can.
Me If You Can? That's all about hacking checks.
He was copying checks. I mean, like electronically.
Whatever.
I'm sure you can, but I don't know. It's just something that I do. And so I know all my bills get paid because I've gotten screwed by the auto withdraw before. Like the electric company, there was an issue and on their end, and then they didn't charge me for electricity for 3 months, and then I get hit with a huge bill. I called them and bitched, and I went because it was the only bill I had that was auto pay. I'm like, I want an actual paper bill that I will pay you with checks again. Then like, well, that's a dumb idea because it's bad for the environment. I'm like, I know loggers; they're my friends. I'll write the paper. So
That's funny.
yeah.
I know
So yes,
loggers.
I do.
So they had a good joke too. They were arguing back and forth about government intervention in the Discord, and they said that Othia said they promised to die in a firefight before giving anything to the feds, and they were like, "You should record a just in case primer," and somebody was like, "That's the 1911 episode." There we go.
That's funny.
All right, I think it's time to wrap it up. I need to get some dinner from my wife.
Yep. You got to keep them fed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How is your baby doing, by the way, Danny?
Oh, thanks. He's good. He's actually a pretty good baby, man. Last 2 nights he only woke up once,
Oh, nice.
which is like insane for a 4-week-old. But
Gaining
yeah.
weight?
Oh yeah, he's gaining a ton of weight. He's like outgrowing all of his. We had to put him in 3-month-old clothing, or like clothing meant for 3-month-olds, because he's outgrowing all of his newborn clothes.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah, he's gonna be a big chunky.
Chunky babies are fun.
Yeah.
And there's like a certain age when fat no longer is fun, is no longer
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, like 6 or 8 or something. I don't know.
It's like 30.
No, I
30?
can tell you it's 32 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll wrap up. Or do you want to wrap up, Danny?
Sure. We appreciate all of you guys for listening. If you're listening to this podcast, especially a couple months from now, the only reason why it is up and not off of the internet is because of our Patreon contributors. If it's the money that they pay goes towards paying the podcast overlords their fees to have this on all the different sites and everything that you listen to it. So thank a Patreon member, or help. $1 a month helps a lot to paying that, because we pay them every month to keep this podcast up. So thank you so much for listening. There's milsurpworld.com. I don't know what else to plug. Thanks for listening. There we go. Maybe we'll just end it there.
That was
outro.
great. That was great, Danny. Great outro.